When men have unleashed the unthinkable, and hell is upon the earth. In the post-apocalyptic world we now live in, it is not what it used to be. Today there's so much pain, heartache, and suffering. Let me tell you a story. It all began in the future, in the year 2041. There's this one man who is now called the Renegade. He is sitting back, thinking about all the signs that led up to this, taking events that has already happened, and reading about past posts that was dropped on a little unknown Facebook page. That page was instrumental in who he had become. He wishes he could have made many decisions that could have altered the timeline, and it could have saved many innocent lives that were lost so long ago. If only the world would have listened, our future might not have turned out like this. So say a prayer that we correct the timeline before it is too late. Welcome everybody. Renegade here. I got some Christian end times with us. I was just sitting here a little bored, and there's so many fake news going on. There's so much. Is my mic too loud, or I need to make sure everything's just right?
You want me to check on the TV to see if it works?
Yeah, if you don't mind, because I think I might be a little too loud. I mean, I'm almost positive I may be a little over. I'm going to drop it down just a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, I think loud's good because that way people in some systems they can't hear it.
That's true. I was still sending out my, some invites and stuff like that to share. So if you want to do that, you can too. Just let me go ahead and, get that taken care of really quick.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay, I'm back. All right, while you're doing that, Christian, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some things that were that popped up. We always thought that China would back, Russia, and they probably would in some other incidences, but this one right here, China has kind of backed away and said, "Hold up now, all right, they know they crossed the line." So China, the other day, I think it was yesterday, they announced that they were sending like $400 million worth of aid to Ukraine for medical supplies, to just humanitarian stuff. Now today I seen where China said, "Hold up, Russia, we're not buying any more airplane parts from us. We're not giving you any parts for any airplanes." So that's big news, in my opinion, because when China says hold up and stops doing business with them, then I see a big setup here. Let me clear back that up. I see a world stage being set. I see a stage being set that all eyes and hearts and minds are are focused so much. You know, in any time you got any entertainment going on, or any shows, TVs, anything regardless, it's always set on a stage. And what I see in front of me right now is a big, big stage. Okay, you got Ukraine, you got the bad guys, which Russia, and all these other people are trying to help. So what happens is all eyes are being focused onto Ukraine. So now, why is the media, the same media, like I said the other day, that pushed Russia, Russia, Russia with Trump, and the same media that says, uh, you got to get the shot, get the shot, get the jab, get the COVID vaccine, that pushed that so much. Now, the same media is pushing Ukraine. I have seen where news stations are doing drives to help Ukrainians, through the suffering or whatever, money and supplies and all that. You know what I'm talking about, like a back to school supply thing. Then why? Why the same news? That's what I don't understand is why. So when all eyes are focused on Ukraine, they're making people that normally wouldn't back, like Switzerland. Think about it. Switzerland, in what, 500 years or whatever, they've never taken a side. And this time, they finally said, hold up, we're taking this side. Now, like, that's even big news. So after all this push and everything else, all the eyes are focused on this world stage. We know without a shadow of a doubt, our intelligence is saying that Russia is planning on using a chemical biological weapon. I mean, that's what our intelligence is saying. Now I'm seeing on the news that they're pushing the same narrative. So, in my opinion, the same news and the same machine, uh, you know what I'm talking about, the media machine that's out there, are putting the same narrative of what we've seen in intelligence. Granted, there's some things that I won't say, that I won't let out, but there's other things that I will say. So what I'm getting at is, do I see a false flag happening here? Do I see the world stage being set, all eyes and all hearts and all minds focused on poor Ukrainians, when, oops, either a nuclear missile or biological or chemical weapons? I mean, think about it. What more would unite the world? Basically, is you got the bad guys. I mean, but what would they gain out of it? More control. I made a drop about this. I think it was this morning, maybe. Now I got Christian here, and I want to hear his thoughts on some of this stuff. Christian, you there? I guess he's still sending out invites. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, I see problems in our future. I really do. I see, if it don't happen, there's many different timelines. You know that. I'm looking right now. There's many different timelines that we could uh, look at, and some of them are just, they're very bad at how they end, and what course we're on. Okay, now you got to look at every scenario, every decision that somebody makes is always different decisions and different paths that can happen. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But what I'm getting at is, if we don't watch what's happening, it will affect us, and it's going to affect you either way it goes. In a pocketbook, or supplies or something. It's gonna affect you. Christian, you there yet? And nope, not yet. But I seen. Oh, well, I did see several high-ranking generals and lieutenants have been getting capped in Ukraine. And Christian mentioned something right before we came on. He said, "Did you see where the Russians were captured and drunk?" I said, "Yeah." What happened is, they broke into they looted a liquor store. They drank so much liquor that they passed out, and the Ukrainians walked up to them and woke them up at gunpoint, and then took them prisoner of war that away. And I'm just waiting on Christian to join me. He still must be AFK trying to send out stuff. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna check
All
my.
right, I'm sorry. I was trying to send out stuff. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. No, no. Did you hear what I was saying?
Oh yeah, I could hear what you were saying. Yeah.
Okay, what are your thoughts on some of this stuff? I mean, really. I mean, do you think we're seeing a false flag set up, a stage being set? I mean, that's what it's looking like to me.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's going on. I mean, it's a possibility.
I mean, I still think the fuel stuff is part of their control, to get everybody to buy, a battery powered car, electric car, or something. Because, like I said that yesterday or the day before, that they are trying to be pushing, clean energy, this, that, do away with fossil fuels. So, what better way of causing a problem than offering a solution, saying, here's an electric vehicle, we give you tax credit.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder if Russia's in on the whole process as well.
I don't know. I believe there's more to it than than meets the eye. Okay, I've said this before. I said two plus two equals four, but now what I'm seeing in Ukraine and other stuff, two plus two is not equaling four. They got it all thrown around, and things are not adding up with me. I mean, when things don't add up, I start hunting, I start investigating, and I start snooping. And the other day, I was sitting here and I said, you know what? Out of all the people and all the stuff I have seen about this, and I've done a lot of watching on and a lot of intelligent stuff, and I haven't seen one black family, not one black couple, not one black anything. And I asked the guys in Discord if they've seen any, and they said they haven't seen any. So, you know, that makes me question a whole lot too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't. It's hard to know. I'm watching tons and tons of stuff going on right now. And
So, I mean, you're the preacher man, okay? I mean, you see signs, you see a lot of stuff that's written, like that one video I posted about, the plagues and everything else that's supposed to come. I mean, I'm not saying it's the end of the days. I'm not going to put that. I'm not going to put that there. I'm just saying, uh, with all the signs that I've seen, regardless, you need to be prepped. Everybody needs to be prepared for whatever, because you're not going to be able to go to the grocery store and buy an $18 gallon of milk. I'm just going to say that.
well, what I'm seeing out there is I'm thinking it's like in the Bible days and what the Bible's talking about and speaking about that. That makes a lot of sense because I think what's happening right now is you've got countries vying for who's going to be controlled of this new world order. Both will be done.
Correct, correct. I mean, I know people. Okay, let me back up just a little bit. Many people don't realize that there's been a battle going on between since the dawn of man. There's been a hidden war we have been kept away from, and that's between good and evil, and that's for your soul. It's for you, and whoever can control more. That's who they're trying. That's why. But people don't know this.
Yeah, like if you read, Jesus was tempted by Satan. He says basically what happened was is Satan offered him all the control of all these nations of the world, and he turned it down. So so I'm thinking from what I'm understanding and all this stuff, it makes sense to me that Satan is being the puppeteer, having trying to get these nations to do different things, That's why this thing's gone the way it has.
Right, right. Having them both fight each other, and then it doesn't matter to him who wins. I mean, he still wins. I mean, but let's go back to the New World Order, Deep State, as I call them, or the Illuminati. I mean, there's some evil organizations out there. They do some bloodletting and sacrificial stuff. I mean, and I'm not even gonna get into the other sick stuff that they do. I refuse to. But April 19th is just around the corner, folks. And if you're not familiar with those days, please just go and search April 19th history of it, and you'll be surprised at all the stuff that's happened. And April 19th is the day that I worry about a sacrificial. Um, that's a day that they will sacrifice a lot of people.
Yeah, that's they probably will. Both sides might do something. This is going to get pretty ugly.
Well, I know we've been building a lot of troops up around not just by Poland, but in the Baltic states. Like oh gosh, Estonia and all the other little states up there, because they're just playing to see what Putin does, and it just things don't add up because Putin military. We know the size of the military. And for them to be sending in all these old vehicles and all these people unequipped, not fed, not enough gas, I'm afraid that they're going to be just cannon fodder and be sacrificed.
It wouldn't be surprising. Maybe that's what the Satan has planned for them, and they think they're going to get control by doing this.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I just, like I said, stuff's not adding up in my book. And when stuff, like I said, don't add up, I start hunting and I start digging. I mean, I'm not a hound dog, but I sure get on a trail or something if I have to.
Well, you do know that the aliens that call are aliens aren't really aliens. I've seen a lot on this that they're spirit creatures coming, and they're involved in all the countries, but they're not telling anyone about. So they're really running things behind the scenes.
Correct, correct. They're interdimensional beings that have traveled here from different portals and different stuff. And I know there's like seven different groups here on Earth. I mean, and this is something that you just if you're out there listening, do your own research. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Christian. Do your own research.
So, I mean, how do we know it's not these groups trying to get everything to fight each other and they win either way?
Oh, they're going to end either way. I did see a interesting scenario or hypothesis about all this. They put it into the context that we're just a slave colony, or a prison colony. Okay, and some of these are wardens and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of made me think and kind of chuckle a little bit. But if you look at the history of how slavery and the mining of gold and everything else over the years, it kind of makes you do a double think just a second.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of that theory before. I watched Ancient Aliens and stuff and all that kind of thing. But I think it all correlates with each other. If you read the Bible and you read on stuff in history that's happened throughout the years, but I always go by the Bible as number one, and number two is other stuff that's been twisted over the time that's the same too.
Well, in the Bible it does mention aliens and UFOs and stuff like that. Sometimes, I mean, what was it? Who is it that the religious group, the Mormons, John Smith, I think it was, who had a encounter with, I guess they want to call them angels, but that to me, it sounded like an alien encounter.
Well, yeah. Well, they probably. it depends on what your viewpoint is, but some people believe that, yeah, an angel, it could be an alien encounter, but I think an angel is an angel, but that's what the other people are calling aliens. So yeah, it kind of correlates together.
Yeah, but they do mention now, like some of these, the staff, okay, that Moses had, and some other stuff, and then the Ark of Covenants and all that. How do we know that wasn't ancient technology? How do we know it's not from a higher being? Besides, I mean, you just got to look at things like that.
Yeah, well, when I go reading about it, you realize that God actually literally, well, Jesus probably was actually riding with them while they're doing that, and different angels, and they had capabilities, supernatural capabilities that no one can even fathom today. That was happening. So they have all kinds of capabilities, but it's not technology. It's their powers. It's insane. I've seen some stuff that spirit beings can do, and it's not technology. It's real.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm just saying is there's a lot of stuff out there that the average person's unaware. I mean, like Nephilims and stuff like that, the fallen angels. I mean, people are completely blind at what's really going on. I mean,
Well, the what it is I don't think it's the actual object, but it's man that tries to make it seem it's the object because they can't understand what's going on, so they seem to think it's an object. When you go reading into it, and realize all what God has said and different things, that those objects aren't what has the power. It's the spirit beings that travel with them that has the power.
right, right. It's like I seen a video the other day where the white man encounters a tribe in the Amazon for the first time, and they seen a mirror, and they've only seen their reflection through the water, and they thought there was some type of magic, or uh, they didn't understand just a simple mirror.
Well, yeah, the trying to think what happened. What happened was in those days, a lot of people didn't understand what was going on, and they try to correlate it with certain. They don't have a know what's really going on.
Right, right, and that's what I was trying to correlate it with the tribe. It wasn't. It was the Amazonian tribe that was you know that seen the mirror for the first time.
Yeah. Well, my theory is that we used to long time ago have technology and lost it all because of our what we did was with God during the time of the during the Tower of Babylon and all that. When we went against God, we lost all our knowledge.
Yeah, when that tower fell, we lost a lot of knowledge. You're correct.
Well, I've seen some archaeology that they've been hiding from us from the mainstream, but there's a lot of archaeology out there that proves that years ago we had lots of technology and then they hid it from us.
They've hid it from us. I mean, definitely. I mean, um, we're being suppressed of technology that we right now. The way that the United States government's advanced. I think it was 100 years ahead of us. So they got technology that we can probably understand. But it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah, now they're coming out with these technologies. I think like Russia and China, they got these hyper sonic missiles, but we've got the better planes than they do. So it's an oddball matchup right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's now speaking of missiles, I'm gonna jump back over to Ukraine real quick. They are using thermobaric missiles and stuff, and if they are, it's been confirmed, but it's not been completely confirmed by some government channels. So Once it's let out to the open, then I can talk about it more. But yes, it's terrible what's going on over there.
Well, when you see the damage that's happened in some of those buildings, I believe they're using thermobarics out there. That's crazy.
Oh, they are. I mean, that's a war crime all in itself, and you know it. I mean, guaranteed that's a war crime.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why, China's like wants to look like the good guy, but they're probably both still friends, but they have to publicly come out against it. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, and that don't make no sense. I mean, because China usually backs Russia, and then for them to be given aid, and then for them to be uh, telling Russia, no, we're not selling you any more aircraft parts right now. I mean, that really does make somebody think of. Now I know China's been trying their stuff in the South China Sea with that island, and I've seen the other day where what was it? Oh, speaking of that, well, who was it? It was Japan that took some islands, hero islands from away from Russia. Yesterday, I think it was that I posted in Discord.
Yeah, that's true. And with all this stuff going along, they could probably get away with it right now.
That's why I think's happened is they've been contested. Russia's had it since the 40s, since World War II, and I think what happened finally is they know Russia's busy right now. And they can't fight a two-front war, so they just went ahead and said, "No, we're taking it back. Well, this is ours."
Yeah, and it's kind of funny is that Japan's now been building a lot lately, so they got a lot of a lot of powerful military right now.
Japan's got a strong navy, more than people realize. So, I mean, it's really Russia is not in a position to uh, try to fight them on that. So, they did take their territory, and there's really not a whole lot Russia can do about it.
Well, yeah, they got a whole bunch. I guess I've been reading they got a whole bunch of aircraft carriers more than they did during World War II, even, and then they're equipped with our F-35s. Those aren't no joke.
Right. I think they had like five or seven of them, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, like a lot of like when people are seeing UFOs out there and all that. I think that they were testing these F-35s out there, and I think that those things can hover and they could take off in a second.
Yeah, but it could be the TR-3B. That's what I'm leaning it towards the TR-3B more so than the F-35s. I mean, the TR-3Bs they can lift up, hover, everything else, and it's got the 155 Highlanders. It's got some pretty heavy artillery on it.
Yeah, but I think it's the same technology of the F-35. When I was reading about the F-35, it's got a lot of technology too.
Oh, the F-35. Oh man, that's a sweet jet. I'm not taking nothing away from that. That is something. What was it I seen the other day? Where do you remember back during the when Iran was shot down our drones, and then sometime back ago they was trying to shoot down another drone, but this time this drone was F F-22s. It may have been 35s. It's F-22 Raptors. Anyway, they were they were escorting this drone, but the Iranians didn't know it. So what happened was, as they were getting ready to lock in on that drone, that's all they were fixed on. That F-35, or I think it's 35 maybe. Anyway, our fighter jet flew up and under to get an eyeball look at what they got armament wise, and then kind of flew right next to them, raised up, and told them they just need to carry their butts on home. And they both were on each side of the fighter jets, and they never even seen them. Iranians aircraft radar didn't see them. Nothing.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, they got something else. They can't. be seen by radar, and it's also got what is it? What was it? Has the capability of hovering and all kinds of stuff. I've seen all the capabilities of it. They can have a technology
Technology
to
to
where
where
if a
the
missile
missile
comes
comes
at
at
them,
them.
they can side skip the dang thing if they have to with it. But I don't know what it does with the pilot, but they can anything that shoots at them, it can get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good at technology. I admit there. We are got some pretty good engineers here in America. We really do. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, uh, Boeing. I mean, there's some real good engineers there.
Yeah, have you heard of the new plane that they're just coming out right now? This new bomber.
Which one is that? I mean,
This
This
Raider
Raider
one,
one,
B-22
E-22
or
or
something
something
like
like
that.
that.
oh, there's one that's already been out. It's the Flying Wing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
just
just
now
now
telling
telling
people
people
about it.
about it.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
it's
it's
probably
probably
been
been
out
out
for
for
a
a
while,
while,
but
but
they're
they're
now
now
telling
telling
people
people
about
about
it,
it.
and
And
it
it
looks
looks
like
like
an
an
awesome
awesome
plane.
plane.
You
You
can't
can't
see
see
it
it
by
by
radar
radar
at
at
all.
all.
That was used in the Iraq War and some in Afghanistan. I mean, it yes. I guess to me, it's old news because you're like me. You see a lot of intelligence. You see a lot of stuff going on day to day, and of course, that's old in my opinion. I thought you were talking about a newer, more advanced one that I hadn't seen.
Well, it's called the Raider. They're just talking about it now. Not the B-2 stealth, but the B-21 or 22 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I mean, I know exactly which one you talk about. The Flying Wing. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, and that one I think can go in there and drop something into a country and nobody know it was there and then disappear.
That's the way they did it in Iraq. They sure did. They came in and dropped them, and when the bombs hit, they were long gone, and there was no radar, no nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, well, how this matchup is now, it's kind of crazy. They got these hypersonic missiles and we've got these planes. So I don't know what a matchup this whole thing's going to be. It's going to not be a pretty war.
Well, we had a problem with what was it, the F-22 uh, before because we had the plane that would go faster than sound, but our missiles wasn't fast wasn't fast enough, and then they had to redo the door design because it was too small or something for the missiles.
Oh, okay. Well, they must have fixed that now because they're coming out talking about it.
Oh, they did. They have. I mean, it was I guess the prototypes and stuff, but yeah, people be surprised at what technologies are out there. I mean, right now we just now, you're just getting a little glimpse of what's going on.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, this is going to be, I really got a bad feeling this is going to turn out to be WW3 pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, all the signs, like I said, the timelines. If we don't do something, we will be in World War III. Now, far as will there be a draft? I don't know. Right now, I say no because why? Because most of our kids are snowflakes and they're fat, overweight, on drugs, alcoholics, whatever. I mean, and they will cry if they get a splinter in their finger. So I don't know right now about a draft.
Yeah. Well, if they were smart, they'd let people who are old change the age thing and older people do it. Some of the older people are actually better than some of the younger people nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, here we got, like I said, we got 3,000 Americans that have left the United States to fight over in Ukraine. I mean, people don't realize that's a large number of Americans that have left their jobs, left their home to fight in another country for what? To help freedom? I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but these people did it on their own, and it's kind of impressive.
Yeah, they took up like donations. See, if I was in a little bit more situation, I could ask for donations. We could go out and say, hey, I would like to get a team over to Ukraine, help us out. You know, I could put a drive up. I have no problem of could collect money, but the way it seems right now, I'm not going to fight something I'm not 100% sure of. You understand? I want to make sure things are lining up and stuff not adding up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I would be a little nervous to go over there myself right now, not knowing what the heck's really going on. But I do know stuff's really happening. But I'd be like nervous because they're saying that Russians aren't treating those people as actual combatants, and they're going to be captured.
Right, right. I'm not saying things are not happening because, of course, we see it happening. I mean, me and you, and we get the intelligence, we see it. I mean, I know things are happening, but far as what's actually really going on, deeper, I don't know. We don't know what's going on in the politics behind the scenes. We have no clue sometimes.
Yeah, it's probably best just to secure the home in case something happens over here with all this going on.
Well, here's what I'm looking at. How, Putin's only been seen in a bunker. He hasn't been seen out in the public. He hasn't been seen around. We know that he had Parkinson's. We know he had a stroke. Now, is he really alive? Is he? I got a lot of questions.
Well, I think he's probably alive, but I think he may not be in the right mind frame right now, is my gut feeling about it.
No, he's if he's alive, he's not in his right mind frame. Because anytime you have stroke or Parkinson's, like he has, it does alter the chemistry. And a man like that, he has nothing to lose. He has nothing to. All he want to do is unite the Soviet Union back. And if he can't have Ukraine, then nobody's going to have it. I'm afraid.
Yeah, and his troops are all a bunch of alcoholics, so he's really screwed.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned that the Russians are not treating them as as combatants. That's what's happening. Is they were under the skies of it's a training exercise, and they got thrown into a war. And they didn't even know there was a real war going on.
Yeah, I've seen that, and because they didn't want them to, the Russian people. When I talk to them over here, like how they feel about this stuff, and they say, "Oh, Russia won't never attack uh, us people because we're kind of similar blood. They're not going to kill their own people."
Boy, they did attack them though, and it was unprovoked. I mean, you've seen Ukraine um, trying to do everything to keep from going to war. Now, I seen where Zelensky the other yesterday or maybe this morning it told everybody he unfriended everybody on Twitter and all world leaders. He unfriended a lot of main people and following no one basically, and told them that at the time that he was on his knees begging for help, none of them were there, and they could just keep the NATO. He don't want no part of it no more. It, you know, it, yeah, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, because we haven't followed our own agreements that we had with them, and so I don't understand why he's mad.
Oh yeah, that Budapest agreement. I mean, that in itself, we should have done something. We should have intervened. Us, Britain, and all the people who signed it should have said, "All right, we got troops here. We you can't attack because we're here, and this is why we're here."
Yeah, and it makes it look bad. I mean, and that's probably why Russia's emboldened right now.
Absolutely. Now, what we do need in here is a couple more people, and that would be all right, you know, because then we can have all kinds of viewpoints and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know if I I probably should have messaged this out to personal text messages, so maybe they would have gotten it. We're live right now.
Oh no, yeah, it's fine right now. I mean, I just like I said, I'd like to get a couple more people in here and hear their viewpoints, and of course, like I said, this is an open platform, so we discuss whatever's on our mind. We don't have a script show.
Well, one thing I see sadly is there's a lot of conspiracy stuff out there that is really not true what's happening, and they put out a lot of Russian propaganda from conspiracy sites.
Yeah, and that is a problem. That's that fake news. That's why I did a video about fake news because sometimes it's hard to just. Now I have been watching TikTok. Speaking of that, speaking of fake news, I have seen this jet come in and shoot this aircraft, and you see the Gatling gun going off, you know, with the trail chasing it. But if you really know, but most people don't know this, it's a video game. There's a lot of video game play that looks real. I mean, looks absolutely real. And I've seen people falling for it, and it's like, oh my god, it's a game, y'all.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the game it kind of looks. I think they're copying the A10 Warthog or something like that.
No, not just the A10, but yeah, there's another one where you're in a what is it? The Flying Fortress, the not Warhog, but the dang C-130 that's equipped with all those guns and everything, the gunship. You know, there's one used that you can switch from camera to camera on like Call of Duty, and then there's another one where you're controlling the guns and on the ground and stuff. That it's I forget what the name of the game is. Uh, I'll think of it here in a little while.
Okay, yeah. Well, we know good and well the A10 Warthog and the C-130 is not over there in Ukraine right now. Yeah,
Yeah, they.
yeah, if we actually had those going out there, those convoys wouldn't last long at all. They'd be blown to hell.
Correct. I mean, if they got them lined up. I mean, that's kind of, but they have to because you got to look at right now the ground is thawing and it's so much mud. They're getting so much stuff stuck. So they have to follow the roads, and that makes them line up just like easy targets. And I think it was what this morning that Ukraine. We don't know if it was the drone that took it out, but they northeast of Kiev, they take it out. They had a whole bunch of equipment in the area, and of course, with equipment being close, you kind of can launch one, and hopefully you'll hit one, and it calls a chain reaction. And that's what happened this morning. They took out several pieces of equipment, and like I said, we're not sure if it's a drone that Turkey gave them or just some artillery.
Yeah, it could be artillery. The other thing I've seen out there, they're using these handheld ones, and they know the terrain better than the Russians do because that's their land. So they can hide in a certain spot with this technology that can wipe out a tank by handheld, and they're done.
Yeah, that's the tow missile and the others. I mean, um, now going back to you said the terrain. What people don't realize, what people are unaware of, is Ukraine and Russia's the number one export of not Russia, but like Russia's number three. But it's wheat. People don't realize we get a lot of wheat from Ukraine and Russia, and that's gonna make a loaf of bread and everything else skyrocket.
we also have our United States. We have a lot of it over here in the Midwest. We produce.
Yes, but we still buy so much because American, we're fat. We like our bread. We like our, like all of our other stuff that we like, and that's just that's just the legits of it. Is we buy a lot of stuff from them.
Yeah, we can. The way the United States is set up originally, but we're having some weird weather stuff lately. But if it weren't for this weird weather stuff, we could produce enough food to produce for the entire world if everything is working properly.
Yeah, but our weather, like you said, we can't count on the weather because in some areas we got flood that washes everything out. Then other areas we have droughts. I mean, yes, if everything's working right, but we have to rely on other nations because we're such a fat ass country that we like to eat, and it's a sad part of it. But that's what scares me if we was to ever be invaded.
Well, yeah, people wouldn't know how to handle all that, but they'd probably honestly, if any country tried to invade us, they'd probably soften us up by hitting us with nukes, and then they'd come and invade after the fact.
Now all they had to do is take the Super Bowl away, and people would be like, "Oh my God, what happened?" Take the internet, people would be just lost like zombies. I mean,
Yeah.
our United States, we're not about a hardened country. We don't know what it's like Syria and some other countries that are used to fighting that's been fought or whatever. Our people over here, we would just be like, okay, they would submit. A lot of them would submit just to be able to watch, keep their air conditioner and watch their Super Bowl and whatever else that they like. I mean, we were going to be in trouble.
Yeah, true. We are kind of spoiled out here. That's the problem with us, especially like we were talking our age, my age group and older are the only ones that are last Americans anymore. Anyone younger than me, they're not able to do anything.
Well, I mean, we got some guys. I seen them. What was it this morning? Also, that a 19-year-old got his passport and left and went to Ukraine to fight. His parents had no clue, nothing until he was already in Ukraine, and he sent a text saying, "Hey, I'm by the way, I've left." And now his uncles and his family and all them are saying, "Hey, he never even held a weapon. He just thinks Call of Duty he can do something." And like that, we have a lot of people that's left from the United States and went over there. Yes, I'm glad that they went over there, but we got problems here at home too.
Yeah, that's true. I know. That's why I said we need to. That's what I was thinking. The best thing to do is shore up our homeland in case something happens over here.
Well, I mean, there's a nation that could get cocky. So now what we need to do is just keep an eye on any buildup, down in Cuba or wherever that they could put troops at. I mean, at least we got buffers. We got Mexico and Canada that are kind of like buffers, but still, there's what is it? Oh gosh, oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
well, I
was
was thinking,
thinking. I
I
was
was
talking
talking
to
to
people.
people,
I
I
was
was
saying
saying
everyone
everyone
should
should
be
be
stocking
stocking
up
up
on
on
iodine
iodine
in
in
case
case
they
they
do
do
go
go
nuclear.
nuclear.
yeah, that's a good idea, but I was trying to think of just what's that other state? Alaska, man. I don't know why I was having such a hard time thinking of Alaska, but Alaska's just right there by Russia. I mean, they could come across that way, but I don't see them fighting a two-front war. I really don't. But yeah, iodine is something that does need to be thought about, because you got to be careful at it. You don't want to take it if you don't have to. And there's a lot of things some people can do. If you get it, if you're caught in the blast and you was able to survive the initial blast, try to put yourself. Don't try to leave. Put yourself in the middle of a building with many walls, roofs, whatever you can over you, and if it's on your clothes, take a rinse off, irrigate. That's the best thing you can do, because what's going to happen is it's going to take 18 minutes before that fallout was that got thrown up from the radiation to fall back down to the ground. As long as you can't outrun it, you can't. But it's after the first what is it, 24 hours? It kind of like either washes away or settles down that you could. I mean, that's about all you can do.
Yeah, that's why it's a good thing working at a hospital. We're probably in a better situation down there. We could have the doctors guide us what we need to do, but we need to have the iodine just in case it happens,
Yeah.
and we need to do it under doctor's care. If there's any hospital that can take care of anything, that's probably the best thing to do. Doctor's advice.
Right. I mean, now, like I said, there's a lot of precautions that people can take. You can stock up on beads, bullets, and bandages. I always say your beans are for nourishment. Your bandages to help protect and cover wounds, and you know, you need to stock up on a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, here I'm talking about it, and I can just barely live paycheck to paycheck, just like everybody else. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to think ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I was meaning is carry iodine as a backup kit too, as part of your supplies as
Well,
well.
of course, I knew what you meant. That is part of prepping. Like nine, was it 922? Either way it goes, maybe Psalms 922. Uh, but either way, you prepare. A man sees the difficulties ahead and he prepares for them. That's what people you're being preached to, and things are lining up. You just need to heed the warning. I mean, the watchmen are sitting on that wall. They're wailing, saying, "Hey, I see the danger's coming. Y'all need to be ready."
Yeah, I see. The thing is, a lot of people they hear about this stuff, a possibility of nuclear war and everything, and they're defeatist, and they think, well, we're gonna all die anyway. Actually, truth be told, if we had a nuclear war, they're not gonna blow the whole dang planet apart. They're just gonna hit certain key cities and populated areas. But if you're out there and not in a populated city, or maybe a populated city that they missed or couldn't get through, you just have to be prepared and ready for it. What would happen after when the aftermath? You can survive the thing.
Right, right. It was Proverbs 9:22. It wasn't Psalms. But anyway, yeah. Uh, there's so much getting back to it. I'm fixing to get off here. We've been almost an hour. I'm gonna do my closing and everything else, and I appreciate you joining me. Anything you want to say before? Oh, before I let him, y'all go to his Facebook page and look for Christian End Times. Search him up. He's on all social medias, just like we are. I mean, he's a good guy. He's got a good heart, and he's willing to do what needs to be done. Christian, you want to say anything to anybody?
Yeah, I have all my social medias are I'm on Flapper, um, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. All the social medias. Yes, I'm on all those.
Yeah, so if you're into the Bible and stuff like that, give him a look up, join it, like his page. I mean, he puts out some pretty good information sometimes. He really does. He speaks from the heart, and that's what I like. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my closing, Christian. But I appreciate you being here.
Okay, well then I'll close this out. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Christian. Thanks a lot. All right, everybody. while I'm getting everything set up to close it all out, what I want to do is talk about you know, being prepared. I have mentioned that. Christian has mentioned that. He's mentioned iodine. He's mentioned there's only so much stuff that we can do. We could tell you, we could preach to you, we can be the watchman on the wall and say, hey, look, something, we see some dangers coming. Gabriel's blowing that horn, all right, and it's up to you to listen. If this channel is not for me. It's not for clout or any money. I don't care about the clout. I don't care about the money. I don't care about. All I care about is reaching one or two family. If I can reach one or two family members, then that's all that really matters. I mean, if I can help in any way, if anybody out there's got any questions, feel free to join our Discord. Uh, it's the links out there. It's not on this video, but it's on other videos. So feel free to join that. Well, it might be on this video in the description. Uh, Join in. Send a message to my our Facebook. That's at the Renegade Network, just like what it is. You can find me on social media on almost all the platforms. I mean, there's a couple that I haven't signed up yet because I'm just testing the water, but mostly I've been practicing streaming here because of issues that I've had previously with the computers and all the stuff that I've had. But join us, send your questions, and I want more people to join us on these live streams because the more people we have, the more viewpoints that we got. And I don't like to run a scripted show like I said earlier. So before I get off here, I want you to think about you, yourself, and your family. Prep, people. Think about what you might need if the power goes out. Because if something happens, that's the first thing that's going to go. What about medicines? You need to think about your animals. A lot of people don't think about that. And I am going to see a lot of the supply shortages is going to start hitting home even more. I mentioned that about the wheat, what would happen with the wheat. I mentioned that the truckers are or protesting, and the docks are backed up. COVID. I mean, it's going to hit home one way or the other. I'm not sure how it's going to affect you, but I told you that COVID was going to affect you one way or the other, and I'm sure it did one way or the other. And this Russia stuff, this Ukraine stuff, is definitely going to affect you one way or the other. So listen to me. I mean, do your own research on a lot of stuff. Like I said, always never trust what I have to say. Never believe a talking head out there. Always research and always follow your heart and don't get sucked into the trap. There's there's a like when you get on the World Wide Web, you search Google, okay? Let's just say that for instance, and as you go through that, what you're looking for, it may be something simple, but there's some information that you're trying to find. But there's an evil spider on that out there, and there's a spider that builds many a different webs, and that spider will deliberately take you to a different area that she was not even looking for in the beginning in the first place. You would find yourself looking at something else and be like, "Oh, that's cool, that's nice." Before it gets you so distracted that you forgot what you're looking for. And I know I'm just as guilty sometimes. So be careful of when you're searching for something, when you're searching for truth. Be careful of that spider because she does weave many webs and will uh, trick you and deceive you. So all I want you to do is before I get off here, is I want you to think about prepping. I want you to think about things that we kind of talked about. A lot of things are biblical, yes. Do your own research, follow your heart, protect your family. On that note, all I'm going to say is Renegade out.
Let that clip roll. You can't cage us. You can't cage us. No, no. Get me out. 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 land of thieves. Beyond the streets, we get it on the beach, and then we take it down to the Isle of Crete. Cause I celebrate and lift my hands and revelate the sacred land. Cause I wanna break free, it's in my human nature. I'm gonna fight it cause I'm naughty by nature. And it's not cause I hate you and I wanna debate you, but I wanna detain you, take you straight to Albania. Yeah, I'm gonna rage. You better watch it cause I'm breaking out this cage. Get me out, get me out, get me out of here. Get me out, get me out. You can't cage us, cage us. You can't cage us, cage us. No, no. Get me out, get me out, get me out of here. Get me out, get me out. You can't cage us like an animal. You can't cage us like an animal.
Propped on the block where the pigs eat slop. Straight off the floor of the office at the top. Like they're walking a dog with the leash on. Like a reverend getting his preach on. Wrapped around my neck, it's like a high-tech way to sign a blank check. Waiting for a subject never ceases to amaze us. That all we left with is peanuts. Half of the time you defy, it's a sci-fi time when you fight for your right. So with all your might, we're breaking out of these chains because we're so out of here. No, nothing can hold us down. Stop locking us up and walking down the street and maybe smoking us bleak. It's just beyond belief, but the executive chiefs get away with the beef. It's time to stop repeating this broken motif.
Get me out, get me out, get me out of here. Get me out, get me out. You can't cage us, cage us. You can't cage